Autoline on the Road at Cars MBS has been brought to you by Mitsubishi Electric, with special thanks to the Center for Automotive Research.
Laurie Harbour is the CEO of a company called Harbour Results. She does a lot of work with smaller supplier companies, especially in the tool and die area. Laurie, my first question to you is electric cars. This is a real threat to your kind of client.
Yeah, the tool industry, they're excited about it, don't get me wrong, because they're excited about electric vehicles and the new options that it creates for tooling. It's that we're not offering as many trim options initially out of the gate for for these vehicles. So there's less tooling to go around, but there's more models, so there's more tools to make.
Okay, so it's not all bad news.
No,
for
it's
them
not all bad news.
In that regard,
Right.
too. You know, Tesla has gone with these castings in the Model Y to start with. I'm sure it's going to go across the board, front and rear castings. That eliminates a lot of tooling.
Absolutely. They've taken out probably over 1,000 stamped dies by removing these metal parts and replacing them with die casting. So it's a challenge for the stamping industry, a challenge for the die makers, but also very disruptive to how we actually process a vehicle. So interesting for lots of people to study.
Tesla's clearly blazing the way, and if it all works out well, you got to believe other automakers are going to follow suit.
Absolutely. They're tearing those vehicles down and looking at how they're making them and how crashworthy they are, and will they sustain what we need to, for regulations.
You're also looking at smaller companies right now that are under enormous pressure from the tier one suppliers that they supply to. But you were telling me before we started this that even though OEMs are shutting down plants, tier ones want to build up inventory right now. Explain why.
Yeah, there's been so much shortage with supply chain issues, whether it's the chip shortage and plants going down, but it's also plastic resin and steel parts. So and to top it all off, lack of labor. So we can't always make the parts we want to make in a given day. So the tier ones and the OEMs are asking suppliers to keep making parts, even if we're not making vehicles, and they're storing them in warehouses so that we cannot, shut down the industry when we are ready to start making and we have the chips that we need. So it's a lot of pressure on the supply chain.
We saw that last year when everybody shut everything down.
Right.
It was so hard to ramp it back up again. So you're saying having all this inventory in place is going to make the ramp up go a lot faster.
Yeah, it should definitely help. But we still have weak areas in the supply chain, and plants are struggling every day. They might need 20 people per shift, and they're getting 8 to show up. So the labor side is a really critical issue right now. So I expect that we're going to see a lot more automation be invested in these plants so that we can keep things running. And there's just different weak spots. It just depends on what area of the supply chain you're in.
And you were also talking about earlier that we could see consolidation of medium-sized companies into making them fairly good-sized ones, too.
Right. We recently did a study and found out that the average age of sort of this small to medium supply base, the privately held guys, is about 65 years of age of an owner. And so they're all looking at their future succession, and they're saying now might be the time to get out. This was a difficult time the last 12 months. And they're expecting some changes in tax regulations and rising cost of doing business. And so everybody's sort of looking at exit strategies. The M&A market is very, very busy right now, and a lot of money available in private equity. So they're looking to consolidate and create larger tier two suppliers that may put some pressure on some of the tier ones.
Well, always interesting to talk to you, and very interesting, especially at the medium-sized supplier, what's going on there.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet, Laurie.
With Firebird, Mitsubishi Electric offers a uniquely innovative cockpit solution that's sure to elevate the user's experience. Whether it's through connectivity, convenience, or safety, Mitsubishi Electric pushes the boundaries of what's possible and delivers cutting-edge technology demanded by today's connected customer.